over here. There's still people walking, that's a good thing.
How's everybody doing today? Alright, so I have a little something prepared. I just need you all to work with me. I know we're all emotional, so if I get emotional, you know where it's coming from. So when thinking about what I wanted to say today, there are many thoughts that came to mind. Gotcha. Many different areas and conversations I wanted to have. Many different people that I wanted to reach. But my issue was, how do I do it? And then I realized, it's simple. Just start talking. At 24 years old, as a biracial woman from Long Island, I can count and list all the times I myself have come into issues with my race. Whether it be with my family, my teachers, previous employers, my race, but specifically being half black, was always an issue. And while I know my experiences are valid and I have every right to be hurt and upset by what I endured, I realized one important thing that many in this country seem to finally be seeing: white privilege. Now, I am a proud member of the black community. It would be foolish for me to realize that I have something that many others in this community, including some of my siblings, do not. I do not have to worry about getting pulled over by a cop for rolling through a stop sign in fear that I might take my last breath. I don't have to fear being put in a chokehold and taking my last breath because I was accused of selling cigarettes. I don't have to fear that I will be shot 3 times by a civilian for jogging in the quote-unquote wrong neighborhood. I don't have to fear that for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, I will beg an officer to take his knee off my neck and cry for my mother. I don't have to fear that I will say I can't breathe at the hands of someone who took an oath to protect and serve the public that includes myself. I don't have to fear any of this simply because I have white privilege as a biracial woman in the black community. You see, privilege is a real thing that seems to be a new concept to many. What is white privilege? I can tell you that it is not being racist, but that it exists because of this historic, enduring racism and bias that this country was built on. I can tell you that it is not the assumption that a white person has not worked hard to reach the success that they have. But what white privilege is someone receiving an unearned advantage, special treatment, or some sense of entitlement simply because they are white or of a lighter skin tone. When people see my skin, they do not run in fear or immediately demonize me as they would someone with a darker complexion. These actions have repeatedly been done throughout our society, going almost always unchecked until recently. Black Lives Matter is a movement that is there to support and uplift the black community when there's a target constantly on our backs. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and the countless brothers and sisters that my community has lost is because of the narrative that white privilege has created since the beginning of this nation. So how do we change it? It is not going to be easy and it's not going to be fast. But I think we start by finding out our why. While we all should have the same why, that being racial equality, there may be something else that motivates us. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's an experience. But find your why. For me, it's my second cousin who was murdered on Bloody Sunday over 50 years ago, doing what he did best, advocating on behalf of the black community in the South. My advocacy now in both Black Lives Matter protests and petitions, but also my future law career beginning very soon, is to honor my cousin Jimmy Lee Jackson and all those who fought for all. So what do we do now? We get uncomfortable. We need to have these conversations with our friends and families. We need to set the narrative straight. Ask questions. Give correct answers. When they say all lives matter instead of Black Lives Matter, explain to them what the true meaning of this movement is. Do not let them taint the reputation any more than police brutality already has. We need to get uncomfortable before we can get comfortable. With uncomfortability comes change, learning, and understanding. But we need to be willing to make the first move and push through these tough conversations. And once we do this, once we get on the same page, the most powerful thing anybody over the age of 18 can do is vote. This is a systemic issue. We need to put people in power who are going to represent us in what we want. Vote locally, vote statewide, vote nationally, and keep voting. This movement will be for nothing if we cannot change who's in charge of our police force, our government, and most importantly, our freedom. And continue to sign your petitions, make phone calls, and hold people accountable. Accountability is a true expression of love. Don't allow people to get away with statements or actions that are incorrect, implausible, or immoral. By continuously making your support known through a simple signature or call, it can open the doors to a new beginning. Today was a huge step, and today was the first step. And while we may or may not have been met with negativity on this way, we carry together as one for a better future for me, for you, for the entire Black community, and all the children to come. So with that, I, on behalf of the Black community, would like to say thank you. But we have some work to do. And in the words of Malcolm X, you can't separate peace from freedom, because no one can be at peace unless he has freedom.